Microsoft Productivity Power Hour. I'm getting my words a little mixed up here. For those of you that are joining us from the Alignable Technology Industry Group, welcome again. This is an event that we do on a monthly basis here, hosted by Harry Carter and Nakia Carter of NTC Tech. They are Microsoft experts, and you will see very shortly why I say so. But as members of the Alignable Technology Industry Group, they sort of support the group and support the membership by putting on this training on a monthly basis. So we do this training here on the first Tuesday of every month at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. My name is William McBurr. I am the group leader of the Alignable Technology Industry Group. And as part of that role, I help facilitate events like our weekly Partners Smart Connects, where technology businesses get together and connect with one another, as well as events hosted by experts in various verticals that could be of benefit to members of the group at large. So today we have our Productivity Power Hour, our Microsoft Productivity Power Hour, again hosted by Harry and Nakia. We thank them with the utmost gratitude for making themselves available to do this for us on a monthly basis. So for those of you who are not able to attend this event live, the event will get recorded, as you can see, and are usually posted and pinned at the top of the Alignable Technology group. So with that said, Nakia, Harry, I turn it over to you. Take it away. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much, William. So welcome everyone, as William said, to the Microsoft Productivity Power Hour. Let's go ahead and dive right in. We have another action-packed session for you. So just to give you an overview for those of you who are new, this Microsoft Productivity Power Hour is a community designed to teach you about Microsoft Office 365, OneDrive, SharePoint, Microsoft Teams, Office, Forms, and then we also go over PowerApps, Power Automate, and we'll be doing some Power BI as well. It's from a perspective of end users and business owners, but we're also doing the citizen developer type sessions like we've been doing most recently with some of the sessions that we're doing today, as well as the last 2 or 3 sessions we've done. As William said, these sessions are monthly. They're 11 a.m. Pacific or 2 p.m. Eastern, demo and Q&A style. So we do encourage questions. We also encourage for you to submit a question of the month. So if you have any questions that you really would like us to go into, or any topic requests, we also encourage those as well. So as William said, Harry and I are your hosts. We are co-CEOs for NTC Tech based out of Washington State. We're authorized Microsoft partner, and the things that we're teaching you is basically what we do. So you can see our street creds on this slide. And then on our next slide, we actually have our guest speaker that is coming to join us today, Sigul Isando. He is our CTO. And he is one of our experts for a lot of the tech that we talk about. So he's joining us today to help us with our demo today. All right. As we're going along, this is a demo style session, but again, we encourage Q&A, so a demo plus Q&A. So if you have a question, please use the chat window and try to put it in the chat window before you forget your question. That way you can get your question in. And then we will make sure that we addressed it either at the end or if we see it while the demo is going on. All right, we always have to give our cloud disclaimer because this is Microsoft cloud technology. Any cloud technology is constantly being updated and they don't always tell you when the updates are happening. So please excuse any inconsistencies between our presentation or our slides or in the current portal. Or if we happen to fumble around for a minute, just give us a second. All right. So today's agenda, we'll be going into the power and potential of automation. So we're going to jump straight into the demo. I'm going to start with, telling you a little bit about the things that, or we'll start a bit about talking about the things that we've done to date, and then we're going to get into the demo looking at some of the things that we did last month. We'll explore the bits of Power Automate, and then we're going to build a true Power Automation off the time off request app that we did the previous month. So far we've gone through and we've done an overview of Office 365 in general, an overview of SharePoint, an overview of Teams, and then we started building some things. So we started looking at building a simple list in SharePoint with a simple app. We follow that up with a simple workflow. And then the last time and then we built some SharePoint pages, and then we built another app, but a more full app. So we're gonna go into seeing some of that stuff now in this demo time. Let me get the slides down. Okay. And I believe now Harry will take it from here.
All right, thank you very much, Nick here. And what you're looking at is your SharePoint site. This will be usually your landing page, the place where you will come in the beginning of your workday to get all the information that you need and to be able to navigate through different things. In the SharePoint site, you tend to have different things like news articles, different ways that you collaborate with your organization and things of that nature. This is also a place where you add apps, news articles, time off requests, things of that nature. As you see, you have different buttons there that allow you to navigate to different areas around your SharePoint site to be able to have different places to go. PowerApps, operations, your marketing tools, things of that nature. So this is this would be the landing place to launch you to different areas within your organization. It allows you to keep things organized, to be able to keep things in a collaborative fashion. Today for everything that you do within your organization, mostly apps, you need approvals for all of these things. You need approval for things like project proposals, budgets, time off requests, and this is the place where as though you could put those apps and things to be able to access that. But what if your approvals weren't a bottleneck, but a bridge to efficiencies and innovation? Today we explore other possibilities of approval app, discovering how tools like Power Automate and PowerApps can transform the way decisions are made, and imagine seamless workflows, instant notification, and clear accountability of all at your fingertips. We will continue with the time off request form from last week that we created. It was a Power App that we created last week. We will take it a little further by automating the approval process and exploring ways to enhance efficiencies. And to help bring this to life, we have Sigu, our Power Automated expert, who will guide us through making approvals smarter, faster, and more effective. And if you could take over the screen, Sigu.
All right. Thank you, Harry. Okay, so let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen. And let me give them really a quick synopsis on this. Could you go to the play? Hit play for me real quick, Sigu.
Okay.
And go to add. Okay, so last week we created a time off request where you were able to add your name, leave type, start date. That way that if someone needs time off, they can easily send it to you through this app without having to do it by paper or yell down the hallway and things of that nature. So the goal for today is once we built this, how do that information go from this to notifying you that someone wants that time off request? And from here, Siegel will go into how we do that.
All right. So let me quickly take you through how to build a flow that can send that sends a request, an approval to the manager for the manager to either accept or reject it. Then, after the decision is made by the manager, it is then an email is then sent back to the requester to inform the requester of the decision. So let me start by creating a new flow. So right from the beginning, right from here, it's taking a while to load. So let's just wait a bit. But let me go on. So right from here, it gives you some templates for you to work with. So the template is what we are waiting for it to load. I don't know why it's taking so long. You can choose from any of the templates or start creating from blank. So even with the flow that we are about to create, because of time, there's a flow that I've already created that I'll just run you through it for you to know the actions that the flow will take. Okay, so now it has loaded. So there's a lot of templates that you can choose from. You can send approval and follow up via Teams. You can notify a user in Teams. You can add an item to SharePoint and send an email. So there are other templates that you can choose from here. When you go to see more templates, there are other templates that you can choose from. So let me exit out of here and take you through what I've already built, the flow that I've already built. So like I said, what this flow does is it sends an approval notification to the manager. Then after a decision is made, an email is sent back to the requester to notify the requester of the decision that has been made. So this flow is connected right to your app. So whenever someone hits, a person fills the form and hits the submit button, it initiates this flow. So what this does is, this start and wait for an approval action does is, it sends, so here you can see that first to respond. So what the first to respond does is, it sends the approval to the managers that you put in here. So the first manager to respond is what it will take. So if the first manager responds, accepts the approval, the request, that's what it will use as the decision. So whoever responds first, it takes that decision. We also have everyone must approve, where everyone that the approval notification is sent to has to approve the request before the request is approved. So even if one manager rejects the request, the whole request is rejected. The leave request is rejected. And we have sequential approval. So for the sequential approval, it's an approval process where requests are sent to approvers one after another. So this could be used in organizations or projects where first level manager has to approve, then it goes to the second level manager, then the next and the next. So with this, if at any point a manager rejects the approval, it stops the sequence. So let's say if the second level manager rejects it, it doesn't go to the next manager. So it rejects the leave requests. It only moves to the next manager if it is approved. But for the purpose of this demonstration, let's use first to respond. So you input your title, the manager it is being assigned to. So all this, the request, the leave type that you see here, they are all dynamic content. So it takes all those information from the app itself, the manager email, and the details you want in the approval notification that will be sent to the manager. So with this, you have the leave type, the start date, some necessary information in there that the manager can approve right from the email, since the manager already has all the necessary details to make a decision. So after the manager approves it or rejects it, an email is then sent to, if it is approved, if the outcome is approved, an email is sent to the requester, the person who requested for the leave. So here too, you have your dynamic content and all the necessary details that will let the requester know of the decision that the manager made, and all that, all in the email. If it is rejected too, you can place an action here that sends a rejection email. But for the purpose of this demo, let's just go ahead and do the work with the approved email. So let's go ahead and test it. So all these are connected to the submit button. So let me go ahead and fill in the information. The leave type, paid time off, set my time. It's a birthday. And the manager, I'm going to choose my name so that I'll get everything in my email to show it to you. Yep. So now that all the information is filled, I can hit the submit button. So as soon as I hit the submit button, it triggers the flow. So the manager is supposed to receive an email, which I'm supposed to receive one. Let me refresh my email.
Okay, while we're waiting for the email to come through, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you do the sequence of the workflow,
Mhm.
how many is there? Can I put 4 or 5 different managers in the sequence?
Yes, you can. So you can put as much as you want in there. So it stops when any of the managers reject it. So it will keep on moving to the next manager as they approve till it gets to the last manager for the last manager to approve. Then the whole request is approved. So if the first manager rejects it, that's it. It doesn't move on to the next manager.
So on the one that says first to respond, that would be more in a situation where as though you have 2 managers and both managers have authorization to give the person time off. So it doesn't really matter which one respond. It's just that the first person that respond.
Mhm,
Okay.
to respond. So it doesn't matter whoever responds, it takes that response and that's it. Whoever responds
Okay.
first. Yeah. Okay, so still waiting for the email.
Okay. We have one more question. How can the workflow create a record or file of the request as well as receiving the email? Okay, I can answer that question.
Okay.
The
let
app
me.
is
Mhm.
the app is
Go
tend
ahead.
to be connected to a list, and once you press submit, the information from the app is added to a list through the workflow. Now, this is not set up. This app is not set up that way. I believe we didn't set up this one on to go to.
No, it's set up to go to the list. It's set up to go to the leave request list.
And all that information is housed there.
Mm-hmm.
And to get a little bit more granular, if you wanted a dashboard and have this, we can create a dashboard on the front part of this app and put it on the SharePoint site where you just see the dashboard and connect and select each person's name on the dashboard and the information will show.
So since I haven't gotten the email yet. Sometimes when you build, when it's a new flow, it takes some time for that happens. So for the purpose of this, let me just, instead of using a dynamic content, let me just use my email so that I just show you how everything looks like.
Oh, and for those of you that might be wondering what dynamic content is basically taking things off of the app or out of the list. The pieces of information that's being captured and putting it into the specific spots that Sigu was demonstrating. So, the start time, start date, end date, the leave request type, those are dynamic pieces of data that come off of the form that was submitted and is being used by the email.
Okay, so let's start.
Hey, check that email. Is it MNICRO?
Oh, thanks, Harry. Okay, so let's start. Let's submit a new request. So the leave type, which is okay.
I feel bad.
Okay, let me use that. Okay, let's try it one more time.
If you
Update
just
them.
pause, well, I was going to say, if you just pause 1 second, you see if everybody is looking at the screen that Sigu's on right now. This is that dashboard type look that that Harry was just talking about. Although, the text is small, we didn't really upgrade the app to the point of super polish. But this is the type of thing that you could have in a dashboard to show the different pieces, the different submissions.
So please tune in to our next class to complete the dashboard on the front part of the app, please.
Oh, you can go ahead, Sigel.
You can go
Still
see.
waiting.
Okay, yeah,
Sorry.
no problem. Okay, so I think I've received, yes, finally, I've received the approval notification. So this is how it looks like. So the title. Okay, so I think I'm now getting the first one. The first one that I did, the time off for birthday, the paid time off. Yeah, I'm now getting it. So this is how it looks like. So you can see that right from here, you have the details, the leave type. So this is the manager's view. This is the manager's view. So you receive the approval notification. You have all the details. So right from here, you can either approve or reject the request right from your email. So let's go ahead and approve the request. You can also add comments. I think this was so enjoy your birthday. Then add your comments and submit it. Okay, so that's it. So after the decision has been made, okay, so there you go. I've already gotten my decision. That was quick. Yep. So I get an email informing me of the decision. So your PTO leave request has been approved. I'm granted leave for the request period. And it adds all the necessary details.
Yep, and you can see the comments there. The enjoy your birthday.
Yep, enjoy your birthday. Yeah. So that's how the entire thing works.
All right, cool. Thank you very much, Sigi. That was very cool. Now, this approval process is used across the organization for time off, not just time off requests, budget requests, travel requests, to get new equipment to replace old equipment. There are a lot of different things that approvals can be used for across the organization. The question is, can we get it done more efficiently, faster, things of that nature? With that said, I have someone putting that question in the chat.
Well, while we're waiting for the question, Sigel, can you take us back to the workflow, to the conditional arm for the rejection, and just show
Sure.
like some of the actions? Okay, and it looks like the question has come up. So how about reporting of a request and approval for audit purposes? So again, William, the whole thing will be captured in a SharePoint list, which can be exported to Excel. So all of that data, all of the submissions are all in that SharePoint list that can be exported out to an Excel spreadsheet. You can also see it in the app, so you'll be able to audit through there as well. Reporting can be done off of that. where, maybe a Power BI dashboard is connected to it and it does some other different types of reporting, crunching the numbers in different ways. So all of that is being recorded in SharePoint and in the Power App itself, and can be, pulled out in lots of different ways. Does that help? Okay.
So back to your question, Nikki. What was the question again?
If we say no.
Yeah, just showing some of the actions.
So if it's rejected, there are a lot of actions to add in here. You can send an email like the way I did with the approved one, sending an email. You can also update the response, maybe in let's say in SharePoint. You can update the response in SharePoint. There are a lot of things with Planner. You can maybe create a task. If it's rejected, okay. There are a lot of actions that you can do. So you can create a task use it to create a task in Planner. You can update an item in SharePoint. You can send an email. You can use it to do a whole lot of actions. There are a whole lot of actions in here that you can go through to there are Excel actions here.
Yeah, I was about to say there's actions that can go across not just SharePoint, but Teams and Excel and Word and Outlook and AI Builder and MSN Weather that they have up there, and Dataverse. Lots of different functions or actions that can be applied to even bring in data from a different place or push data to a different place that is part of your connected system. So there's lots of different connectors and actions going to other third-party products as well as Microsoft first-party products.
Yep.
And another thing is, if you're an organization that has approval process, whereas it's a sequence process, but one can override the other. Maybe the floor bar saying, okay, I'm gonna not approve it because I don't quite know how many days they have left, or I want to keep him here. But the person over top of them say, okay, no, we ain't gonna need him here during a certain amount of time because we're gonna have enough people on the floor. You're really not gonna need him, so I'm gonna override that approval. Or you're able to be denied, but send their approval to someone else. Conditions and controls can be added in to whereas once it gets denied by one, it can be sent to someone else. And then that approval, they have a chance to say, I will approve it and send it back to the next person and next person. So this can be added up to conditions over multiple different levels. You can set it to where as though you have to go to 27 different approvals, and then you got to create some tasks behind it and complete those tasks to be able to get approvals based on, okay, I want to get promoted. So complete these tasks and I will approve that. So it's a lot of things you could do in the approval process with, different actions as you move forward through your organization.
Yeah, it just basically depends on what your organizational process is. Then it can be built to that organizational process. But I would caution that if you're going to build something to your organizational process, you review your organizational process first to make sure that is the right process. All stakeholders are on the same page, that is the real flow that needs to happen, find ways to optimize it, and then automate it before you actually set it into a place where people are going to be using it for a bit. But it can always be changed at any point in time, but you would like to have some longevity for a while. Okay. Do you have any more questions? No, we had a question earlier. Oh, okay.
I believe that's the last question in the chat.
Yeah.
About reporting and requests.
Yeah, it looks like somebody's typing now. But we did have a question earlier asking, can we plan to have a co-pilot focused event? I'm sorry, what'd you say, Sigurd? No, okay. Someone asked if we can have a co-pilot focused event in the future. Yes, we definitely can do that. We need to add that as a topic to that slide, because Copilot is basically covered by the M365 suite. So that's part of the topics that we will be exploring.
Okay, we have a question. What is the difference between PowerApps and Power BI? You want to take that, Nikki?
Okay. So PowerApps is the place where you create custom apps. Those applications can be built on certain technology, like from SharePoint, Microsoft first party, Teams, what have you, but there's other connectors that it can be connected to. And that goes for all of the Power Platform, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI. They all have connectors that can go to first party as well as third party things and connect those things together. But basically, Power Apps is where you would create the application, the app where you would take in information and probably display it. Power BI is the place to display the information. It's where you make it graphical, and you can have certain reports so it can come out and looking like a spreadsheet type bunch of data. But that could be in the background. In the foreground, you can have these graphics that help bring that data to life and can be sliced and diced in different ways to see the data in different type ways. So Power Apps can display data, as we were seeing in this app today. The first screen that had all of the items that were submitted. So it actually can show data, and it can actually display Power BI graphics through it to make it look like it's displaying data. But mostly, again, Power Apps is for creating those applications for inputting data and storing that data for the most part. And Power BI is for visualizing the data. And then Power Automate is for processing the data, for creating those business processes, crunching the data, things like that. So that's mainly what those things are for.
Okay, we have another question. What is the scope of this automation? Does it have site scope? I suspect it is.
Yeah, so I'll take that one since I'm the one that basically started this thing off. I believe that you're asking and if I'm wrong, just go ahead and correct me in the chat, or you can feel free to come off mute. You don't have to write in the chat. If you want to come off mute, you can. But you're asking if the application or the scope of the automation, if it's only scoped to that site. And basically, I could say yes, because it's scoped to that list that's in a site, that's in a specific site. But there are workflows that don't have to be scoped to a site. They could be scoped to a Outlook action, something that you did in Outlook. So it doesn't have to be, scoped directly to that. But yes, in this case, it's scoped to the site because it's scoped to a list that is in a site, if that helps and answers the question.
It does, Nikki. Thank you very much for that. Let's see, I probably didn't phrase that as well as I might. I'm thinking about hub sites and the child to the hubs. Can we
Mhm.
scope it to the child site as opposed to the hub site? I suspect
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
So yeah, in this situation, it is this app is connected to a list, a SharePoint list
Yeah.
that's in one site. So if that site was a child site, then it would only go to that child site because
Awesome.
that's what
Thank
it's
you.
connected to.
Perfect. That's kind of what I was wondering about it. Being, I'm aware that the lists can be scoped, but yeah, as long as the automation is tied to the scope of the list, then I think I understand. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. The next question is, so the front end can be a form in SharePoint. And of course, the question answer to that is yes, it can be. Anything can trigger the workflow. Building a
Yeah.
SharePoint site could trigger the workflow. Building a Teams could trigger the workflow. A form, an app. There are a lot of different things that we can use to trigger. It's based on what your use and your needs for your organization are. We've actually had people that needed approvals to build a team site. So they have to put in approval and try to create the team site, and then the approval process will go to the manager, and the manager say yes or no. And that keeps them from having 35, 40 different teams that were just being built.
Precisely. Yes, 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 exactly. The otherwise you get hundreds of sites going and a lot of them
Hmm.
are kind of spurious. So thank you. Perfect. That was a great, I was leading up to that question. Thank you.
Yes, definitely.
So I
And
can come off camera and ask my question here.
all right.
I know with Teams you can have, or persistent chat. So is it the idea now that we've migrated to Teams, the chat as part of these events can persist beyond the hours, so folks can continue to engage as things potentially come up.
Well, for the meetings, I know they'll see the chat when they join back, but there are
Mhm.
certain situations, and I think this might be one of them because everybody doesn't have teams.
Okay,
If they
so
do have teams, it may persist in their teams. Um,
yeah,
and it
right.
definitely will persist when you come back next month. You'll see the same chat messages and you can scroll back through previous stuff. But if you don't have teams, then you won't be able to get back to the chat.
But for viewers that or for users that do have teams, if they're connecting to this event with their team's account, the chat for this event will persist as a chat in their teams.
Yeah, it should.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Oops, okay. All right, so let's get to the conclusion now. So as y'all saw, Power Automate with everything else Power Apps, um, just even without Power Apps, Power Automate is just an awesome tool to help you automate your business processes, which could touch SharePoint, which could touch Power Apps, but it doesn't have to. It could be touching some third-party tool like MailChimp or Google Analytics or with some of the other connectors. Uh, um, Dang, I have so many flashing through my head, and I keep on not being able to name them right now. But so many different types of software, Zapier, that you could possibly use these automations to bring in these tools that you're using outside of Microsoft, bring them into your environment so that they're part of your workflow process, making it a little bit more seamless, saving you more time and making things easier for your end users. So Power Automate is a great tool for automating your business processes and keeping things flowing in your organization, um, making that employee retention a bit better too, because when things are easier for your employees, they tend to stick around as well. All right, so that is the end of the content, but course, don't go anywhere. We want to tell you about our promos just in case you need some help with your Office 365 or what have you in your organization. We have a training special where we'll we have a 1.5 to 2 hour session of instructor-led session like this with Q&A on different introduction topics like Intro to Office 365 or SharePoint or Teams, learning the difference between SharePoint Teams and the different M365 groups, which ones you should know use when, things like that, where you can invite as many people as you want to invite for $2,000. Now, if you don't have that many students, there still is the per student rate that we have with a minimum of 5 students. And then we also have our efficiency booster special for apps. So the ability for you to be able to get some pre-built apps that we already have. So quick setup, quick, easy setup in your organization. These pre-built apps will be branded to your company's colors with your logo. We'll have notification workflow for automated, and you'll get how-to guides as well as a video on how to use the tool. So if you need like your own out of office or contact a manager app or expense app or task tracker, please let us know. We can get those set up for you really quickly as part of our special. So any final questions? Because again, we have about 10 more minutes, and I will just make sure because I can't see the screen right now. Okay, I don't see any questions in the chat.
Nikki, can I
Yes.
just take a minute to offer appreciation for putting these on? This is quite helpful for those of us who aren't experts with the app or with the platform, and so it's very helpful. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for the feedback. We very much appreciate that. Let us know if you have any topics. Now, if you're the friend that wants the co-pilot, yes, that will be coming. But if you have any topics that you want us to discuss that we have not said in the chat or during the course of this call, then please let us know so we can incorporate those thoughts into our future events. All right, since we don't have any more questions, appreciate all of your time. We'll give y'all some time back. But if you'd like to reach out, feel free to do so. If you'd like to get a copy of the slides, there's not a whole lot of content in them, but if you wanted to get the copy of the slides, you can do so. You can also visit our website. If you go to our LinkedIn, our YouTube channel, or to William's YouTube channel for Alignable, the Alignable channel where the YouTube video will be posted, then you'll be able to get to the video as well. Or you could feel free to reach out to us for those links. I'll actually make sure that I include that next month. We'll have the link to our YouTube channel on the slide. Anyway, we wish you all to have a great rest of your month, and we will see you next month.